My name is Trisha Mitchell, and I want to say thank you to everyone who's gotten up and told their stories. When I saw Pat's post on Facebook about this story hour, I was like, I don't have any stories, but then I started writing, and it turned out I did. And this is sort of like ripples from Raoul's. I was a little bit young for Raoul's. Let me see. I grew up in Austin, started to go into live shows when I was 15. I was a 17-year-old freshman at UT when I stumbled across The Offenders performing on the East Mall next to the fountain. What on earth? I was struck by the sensory onslaught, the volume, the intensity, the excitement, the passion. Did they ask UT if they could play? But honestly, what I most remember was Sally King. Blonde dreadlocks, pink trench coat, black combat boots. What on earth? And then days later I spotted Sally again in the auditorium of my huge psychology class, and I would continue to behold her style all semester and after. Friends were what made this scene approachable. I met Pat Blashill at La Fun, the arcade on Guadalupe, where I specialized in playing Galaga. I met Jason Asnes, the drummer of the Vertibeats, who introduced me to people like Liz Blashill and Rachel Norwood, who worked at Record Exchange. I reconnected with Delcy White, who I had known from our high school drill team, and we started going to shows together, dancing and meeting other music fans who danced. There was a whole bunch of us. Delcy introduced me to David Woody of the Texas Instruments and to Donna Rich, whose roommate I became. Donna is a musician and songwriter, a former, I think, skateboarder. Do you skateboard anymore, Donna? Not so much. And she'd sing these gorgeous covers of punk rock songs. She taught me my first chords on the guitar and how to write songs. We later moved into a bigger house in Clarksville with Donna's sister Becky. In the 90s, Donna and I had a little musical combo called Hildegard, and Rich Malley from the Horsies later joined us on drums. Let's see, did I lose I lost something. Oh, I'm in the back, that's why. So in the late 80s, I joined a wave that took a bunch of people from Austin, including Pat Blashill, to New York City. I was awarded a scholarship to dance at one of the big modern dance studios, and 6 days a week I ate, slept, rode the train, and danced. I took classes, rehearsed, and studied with masterful dancers and choreographers. But here's the thing, even as I gained technical proficiency as a trained dancer, at my core, in the moments when I found a state of flow, merging my body in 3 dimensions with rhythm, melody, and other bodies, I was just reconnecting with a part of myself I discovered in Austin, dancing to live bands. So dance, more so than just holding my $2 Shiner Bach, was a way for me to engage, to feel free of pressure, to talk or relate or fit in, get lost, soak up, and express the sounds around me. On a typical Saturday night at the Beach Cabaret, you could see the Texas Instruments, Scratch Acid, Glass Eye, Nice Strong Arm, Dr. Smog, Chlorine, The Dig. You could dress up or down. You could chat with Daniel Johnston in the parking lot. And if you were ever feeling sad, which I sometimes was and still am, he'd say you should never give up because things can always get better. Then you could go read the graffiti in the women's room at the beach that said, "John Croswell makes my uterus crawl." And you could just ponder that while you waited for the next band to go on. I saw Sonic Youth on their first U.S. tour. I'm forever grateful to Pat Blashill for taking photographs of their show at the Continental Club. My coolness is now undeniable. Forever. My kids have been silenced. We followed Sonic Youth to Houston, where we heard Coming Down, Sadie, I Love It, bouncing off the walls of downtown skyscrapers at a sparsely attended street festival. I saw the Violent Femmes at Liberty Lunch, featuring Gordon Gano in a pink Virginia Slims t-shirt dress. You've come a long way, baby. I moshed at the Ritz. I go-go danced with the Meat Puppets. Their manager invited us to follow them on tour. I saw Butthole Surfers at the Cave Club, or whatever that venue on Red River was called at that point in time. I was curious about it all, and I was not worried about categories. And I'm ruined for life, as far as blindly throwing my body and soul into a pit of capitalistic consumerism defined by others. Because I had read a zine that Bill Daniel created. It was called Detour. It was designed to counter perception management. So when I read in the New York Times that the movie Slacker helped to define the image of an aimless generation, I know better. Those characters and the people they were based on were not aimless. They just looked that way to anyone who didn't live here. They weren't allowing capitalism or a professional identity to define them or dictate how they spent their time. Austin's punk scene planted its DIY seeds in me. I knew at the time how fortunate I was to witness and sometimes have access to such smart, creative, generative, irreverent, engaged, and inquisitive people. I observed and learned. They changed the trajectory of my path. They encouraged me to take risks, to ask questions, to try and find out, to follow my nose, to turn up my nose, to mess up, and to be more myself. I am grateful for the efforts and love of all of you to collect and memorialize and validate a truly special era of history and of my story.
We got time for one or two.